Hey guys, Darrell Brooks has 3 criminal complaints pending against him with a variety of crimes. These were offenses leading up to the parade murders, which, if they had been resolved more timely or treated with appropriate bail, might never have happened. With his 2 hearings coming up on March 23rd, let's look at what he's charged with in the 3 cases. 2 of those cases are joined currently. The first case is 2550. This involves 2 counts of recklessly endangering safety with the use of a deadly weapon and 1 count of possession of a firearm by a felon. So that's the first of the 3 criminal complaints he's still got pending. This occurred on July 24, 2020. That's when police went to Darrell's mother's house due to a shot spotter activation. Shot spotter is a system put in by cities to let police know when a shot is fired and potentially varying degrees of accuracy the location of the shot. This perhaps helps since the system lets violent criminals return to their communities repeatedly to endanger citizens. So in a case like Brooks, he was quickly picked up and then, of course, returned to the streets while his case languished on the slow burner. So really, how much did the thing help? Anyway, Brooks and his nephew ended up in a fight over various things at the mother's house. A cell phone was mentioned. When the fight ended, and apparently the nephew came out on the top end of this, the nephew got into the car with a female, and while they were ready to leave, Brooks comes out of the house and he shoots at them. And they drive off. The female said while she was getting ready to drive off, she saw Brooks come out of the house with a gun. He looked around to make sure the coast was clear, raised the gun and fired a shot at them, and they took off. Before police arrived, Brooks took off as well. So the police got there and he talked to his mother. The next day, just after 3 p.m., the officers go back to the house. The mother was outside and told them Brooks is in the house. She told police it was okay to enter the house, so good on her for that. They did. They located Brooks sitting on an air mattress where he was arrested in the living room. Also on this air mattress were a stolen Beretta handgun and a plastic baggie with meth in it. So this isn't the TV SUV living Brooks yet. That's later. This is Air Mattress King Brooks in the luxury of his mother's house living room on an air mattress, as anybody would be with a handgun and a bag of meth when the police storm in and arrest him. As part of the case proceedings, a no-contact order was entered for the 2 persons, the nephew and the female, who were shot at, and the mother. Now, that's an important proceeding because, of course, Brooks obeys laws, right? Respects them. Yeah, maybe not. But what it does do is provide at least a way his bail could be revoked, and he can be busted for that. But I mean, imagine Brooks is going to comply with a no-contact order. I do understand there are reports that he later complied with it, staying in his mom's SUV in the backyard with a TV out there. And I'm not saying it didn't happen some. And certainly, that's a large step down from a kingly living room, fully inflated air mattress with associated handgun and meth. But I think it's safe to say Brooks didn't care about complying with the law on the no-contact order any more than he did any other law. He didn't like getting caught, of course, but he certainly violated that no-contact order many times. So if he spent the night out there with a TV, okay, but it wasn't because he was super concerned with the compliance of the law. Maybe he just wanted to create a facade where he didn't get caught. I mean, he was even known to be in contact with his mother while he was on the prison phone when the no-contact order was entered. Now, note, these orders say she cannot agree to waive the order. She can't go, well, it's okay if he talks to me now. That's not how the no-contact order works. And he's not supposed to call her. And if she calls him, he should hang up on her. So forgive me if I doubt he stayed completely out of contact with her and out of the house just watching TV in the SUV, as funny as it is, and that it may have occurred some. I mean, she was the one bailing him out, talking to him on the prison phone, giving him the vehicle to drive around and all that. You know where he went to use the bathroom and eat and stuff. I mean, let's keep it real. Anyway, in that case, the case of shooting at the nephew and the female and getting caught with a handgun, that's 3 charges he's got there. The judge denied lowering bail a couple of times when the defense requested it. But as the case continued to be delayed, the judge finally reduced the bail to $500. And here's what the nephew who Brooks shot at said later in an application for a no-contact order. You see, he's saying, family shouldn't hurt family like that. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, you shouldn't shoot at anyone who isn't trying to hurt you. That's a general rule, but I don't disagree that Brooks didn't care about his family at all. Anyway, back to the case. Brooks gets out in March when his bond is posted by you-know-who. And whether he's living a monastic lifestyle in the Ford Escape with a TV, the simpler life, or sneaking back to the luxury accommodations of the fully inflated air mattress. We just don't know for sure. But we do know that in early November of that year, he assaulted Erika Brooks, and that leads to case number 2. The second case, 4596, involves charges for obstructing an officer, bail jumping, because of what he did while he was out for the shooting case, second-degree recklessly endangering with a domestic abuse assessment. I mean, he ran over her. Disorderly conduct with the domestic abuse, and misdemeanor battery with domestic abuse because, he punched her and then he ran over her. And so on November 2nd, while Erika was staying at the American Inn, Brooks knocks on the door. She opens it and he starts yelling and cursing at her. Now, that's believable. She tries to get away and he snatches away her phone, and then he gets back in the SUV and he drives away. No word on where the TV was. In a scenario that sounds like NPC script for Grand Theft Auto, she's walking down the street to a BP station when he pulls up and demands she get it in. She declines and he punches her. Then he strikes her with a Ford Escape. Police are notified and they head over to the no-contact mother's house, and there's old no-contact Brooks in the driver's seat of the ironically named Escape. As he's exiting the driver's seat, police told him to stop. Brooks showed as much response to that as he does to any other law or law enforcement. He continued to walk away toward the house. Then they said, do not go in the house. What do you think Brooks did? He ran the rest of the way to the house and ran into the house. And he managed to shut 4 doors on officers who were pursuing. Now, I've got to think police are counting a screen door here, and that seems like running up the score a bit, but still, I get their point. He's trying to evade arrest and obstruct justice, because that's what he does. The complaint notes the no-contact mother was in the residence when Brooks entered it. I'm sure he was sorry about that. The report is silent on whether Brooks made it through the final 4th door and onto the air mattress for one final moment of comfort. It's in the interlude of while he's in jail for these charges, waiting on no-contact mom to get him bail money, that he has repeated contact with his mother and Erika Patterson, even after a no-contact order is entered for Erika Patterson. It's when that happens that he launches his galaxy-bringing idea to just talk to Erika in the third person. That was going to throw off law enforcement. They could never figure it out then, right? Even though she's the person on the phone. But of course, he abandoned that plan out of rage shortly thereafter. And no-contact mother posts the bail, which was $1,000. So now he's out on bail for $500 for shooting at people and having a gun when he's a felon. And then he runs over a woman and punches her, and he's out on $1,000. Shortly after he's let out, this time he commits the parade atrocity. The third case, the final case that is still active, was filed in December 2021, and it charges Brooks with intimidation of a victim, intimidation of a witness, and bail jumping. The particulars of this conduct was the subject of the last Brooks video I did, where we went through all the things he said in the jail calls, which were ridiculous. It's joined now with a second case involving the assault of Erika. So the 2 Erika cases are together. The one where he actually assaulted her, the one where he intimidated her. It's being handled by Judge Michelle Havas, who was an assistant district attorney before becoming a judge and a parole officer before that. So he has a female judge in that case for the Erika cases. The first case is being handled by Judge David Feiss, and it was his hearing, I think, that I showed clips of in an earlier video. He's handling the shooting case. So the Erika cases are the first female judge, the shooting at the nephew and the female passenger, and a felon in possession, that's the male judge. So people have asked, well, I hope he gets a male judge or female judge or whatever. Well, guess what? He gets one of each, assuming they stay that way and these cases move forward. And all the cases have been calendared for updates and things on the same day anyway. The status is discussions of a potential resolution, plea bargain, dismissal, I don't know. But if that fails, defense counsel have moved to withdraw, as Brooks has brought up his desire to represent himself at trial. He was on his best behavior when he was rolled into court for the hearings as he's prepping for this. Subject to certain restrictions, including a minimal inquiry into mental competency, not skill competency, he has a right to represent himself. It's a constitutional right. He can't force a lawyer on you just arbitrarily. So you have a right to a lawyer. You have a right to not have a lawyer. The judge has to proceed to some degree carefully because of those constitutional rights. So will these cases move forward? They are scheduled to. I saw on the docket the last thing was an order to produce, and I think that is an order to bring Brooks to the hearing when it occurs on the 23rd. And there'll be an update on whether the cases have resolved or not. If not, the judge is going to need to deal with defense motions to withdraw and Brooks' desire to represent himself I don't think he's going to waver from that course. This would be his chance to be a complete idiot again. I mean, otherwise he's completely irrelevant and just sits in jail. So people predicted he would take this course if the cases continued, and certainly that was a reasonable prediction. As to plea bargaining, why bother? He's already got all these other sentences, unless he thinks he's really going to get those overturned. He's got essentially nothing to lose to throw the dice here and lose big here in exchange for being able to engage in this self-representation where he tries to abuse victims and things like that. So again, there's 3 cases, 2 together and 1 separate. They might proceed on 1, 2, or 3 of those. We just don't know until we get to the hearing, which we'll see later. Now, another question that's come up is, why don't they charge his mother with something or go after her? And we'll look at that in a different video. But that's what's going on with Brooks for now. These are all things that occurred prior to the Parade Massacre, but which were not adjudicated before the Parade Massacre trial occurred. So they've just been sitting out there, and now they're finally coming to a resolution. Well, that's it. Thanks. Bye.